Hey everybody, welcome to the Monster Tutorials in-between show number 2. In today's show we're going to recap last tutorial, which was this fancy Horrornament. We're going to talk about these for a minute. We're also going to answer a viewer question about angels, like this one. And we're going to learn a new technique that is really easy, so we don't need to do a full tutorial for it, and that is how to make crackle finish, like our witch doctor's face, and that with household items instead of paying the big bucks for the real crackle finish. So let's go to the studio and let's get started with this show. And remember, you don't need to write anything down. All the notes for this show, including the techniques, the recap, and the sneak preview of the next tutorial, are in the show notes, which is at monstertutorials.com/IBS2. IBS for in-between show, and 2 because it's episode number 2. In the future, if you want to reference any show, just do monstertutorials.com/IBS and put the number of the episode you want to see. All the notes are there with links to the tutorials I'm talking about, links to places where you can buy the stuff. Everything's written down, so put your pencil down and just sit back and enjoy the show. In the last tutorial we made Horrornaments, these little creepy ornaments to decorate your Christmas tree or to decorate anything else. I was thinking, since people liked these guys, to do a whole series of them. Different body parts, different things. So stay on the lookout at monstertutorials.com or in this YouTube channel for all the Horrornaments, and I'll try to put them all together so that we can revisit them during the holidays. So that was our last tutorial. Again, the link is in the show notes. So this week's question comes from one of our viewers, and he asked or said that he wanted to have some angels or cherubs, evil angels, in his haunted house or in his Halloween decoration. And he asked, how do you make them evil? And the simple answer is it depends, right? I'm not sure what kind of angels or cherubs you're talking about, but just to talk in general, I bought this guy at the thrift store for a few dollars, and I'm going to use this to decorate. The main thing you can do with something like an angel that always helps is the eyes. That's what makes something really evil. And remember, if they're shiny, it looks like it's alive. If they're dull, it looks like it's dead. So that's a good rule to follow. So what I would do is what I did to this doll. All I did to her is just paint the eyes all the way black. I'm not sure if you can see it in that lighting. And that'll make it nice and creepy. Another option is to put some tears. So something like this, right? And they could be black tears, they'll look cool, or even red tears with some fake blood. So that's my recommendation. In addition, I'm going to paint this guy probably with a stain to make it look all dirty and grungy. And then, grungy, and then I'm going to just do the eyes, and I'm going to sit it in a corner. Oh, a cat that is attacking my angel. Yes, I know. So that is the not so good answer to your question. I hope that helps. Also, if you're going to have it outdoors, make sure you put some kind of coating on the outside, some spray to make it weatherproof. And if it's indoors, I think it should be fine. So now let's go to the studio to learn today's technique. Cat, I swear to God. Today's technique is a crackle finish, as you see here. That is used for making furniture look old or making a doll look really crusty. Usually what you do is you buy this special compound that you paint over your base paint, and then it starts crackling, but it costs a lot of money. So we're going to do our own with just some household materials. So all you're going to need is school glue. Yep, that's it. And you need a base color. So in the case of this guy, the base color was black, and then the top color was white, which I used this gesso finish, which is a type of white paint. So let me show you how it's done. Okay, all you need is some school glue, and I'll put some in here. And we are going to do the crackle finish on this guy right here. Thank you, Kat. So we're going to paint the design we want with the glue. Really? We're going to paint the design that we want on the surface that you want. So this will be the base color, this bone color, and then the top will be white. I'm just going to paint a mask around the eyes to make it look like a voodoo doctor. The thicker the coat, the bigger the cracks. Okay, the trick for this technique is to let the glue dry only about 4 or 5 minutes until it gets a thin skin on top, but it doesn't dry all the way. So we're going to wait about 5 minutes. Okay, this glue now has a little skin over it, so it's been drying for about 5 minutes. Now we're going to paint right over the glue. I'm using some white gesso, which is just a type of paint used to paint art canvases. I like this one better because it makes better cracks. And I'm just dabbing it just because I like the dabbed look rather than the brushed look. And just be gentle so you don't disturb the glue. And the way this works is that when the glue dries, it shrinks, and when it shrinks, it'll crack the paint. So if you use a very flexible paint, it won't crack as much as a nice stiff paint like this gesso. If you want to find gesso and cannot find it, I will put a link on the show notes. That should be it. We're going to let this dry and see if those cracks appear magically or not. That is it. Let it dry for a couple hours and you see all the cracks start appearing. After it dries for a couple hours, the cracks start to appear. As you can see, the glue shrinks and thank you, Kat, yes. And you get your crackle finish on a budget. No need to spend that money for the fancy stuff they sell at the craft stores. So go make something antique and let's go to the next section of the show. And finally, in the next tutorial, stay tuned because we're going to do this makeup right here. This is a really easy tutorial made with the nose and scar wax that we made ourselves with our DIY recipe. I want to tell you, however, that I was deciding whether or not to release this one because I like when things turn out like awesome, and this turned out so-so. I am not a professional makeup artist, so I wasn't too happy with the results, but I decided to release it anyway. So stay tuned. In the next couple of days you should see the holes makeup, and I'll show you where I think it went wrong, but for the most part it was pretty cool. People were impressed. I wasn't so sure about the result. So stay tuned for that makeup. I will be releasing that tutorial next. Well, this brings us to the end of the show. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe so that you get notified when we release the makeup tutorial or the next in-between show. So with that, my assistant Samara that got a perm and me say goodbye, and I'll see you next time. Oh, and don't forget, no need to write anything down. Check the link below. That'll take you to all the show notes for the most of the tutorials in between show number 2. See ya.